That's so funny.
To the Reality Receipts podcast starring me, Storytime with Rikkii.
And me, Reality Ashley. Thanks for being here with us. We got
Yes.
so much to talk about today. It's we got a recap of episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Yep.
And before we get to that, we did find out about another engaged couple. So, or no, sorry, they were not engaged. Another couple that were really close in the pods, but they didn't make it to the engagement. So,
Yeah. So we got hit with some information that Vanessa and Adam were actually had a really good connection in the pods. I guess her mom went on a podcast because Vanessa can't violate that NDA
yes.
and spilled some tea. So that was
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
what do you know about it?
she said that they were had a really good connection in the pods, but ultimately they decided that they were not ready for an engagement, so they ended it. If you watch, you can kind of see both of them at those end
I've seen
scenes
them.
where right before the engagements happened. So we kind of had a feeling that they must have either gotten engaged or made it to the end. So they did go to the end, but they decided not to get engaged. But they did try to date a little bit outside of the pods, but ultimately they decided they just weren't right for each other. So,
Okay, so
but
basically what we saw happen with Madison and Alex, where they
yeah,
dated up until the engagement and decided not to get engaged. So I'm curious why, that
there,
storyline wasn't shown for sure.
right, because we definitely had a lot of pod time on these
Hmm.
episodes, so it would have been nice to see a little bit more. But apparently, they also were involved in a triangle with B Dot, so more B Dot that we didn't get to see. So he had a really good connection with her as well. So. And
Oh,
her mom did also mention in the interview that there was a lot of conservative men in the pods, which I don't think
yeah.
anyone is shocked by after watching the show. So,
Yeah, for sure. I think my confusion is because, I think a reoccurring thing that I've seen going around online is that there's been a huge lack of diversity this season. And while Adam wouldn't have helped at all because he does fall in line with looking like all of the
yes.
rest of the other men, the brown hair, you know what I mean, the fair skin, he looks just like all of them. They could be
They're all
cousins.
copies.
Yeah, they're all, copy and paste. Vanessa is actually a woman of color, so it's like they did have the. I just thought, I was like, maybe Minneapolis just doesn't have a lot of people. I don't know. But it
Yeah.
turns out that they could have actually, shown us B Dot's story. They could have shown us Vanessa's story. So I'm very curious to know, like,
They did,
why,
yeah.
yeah, why
It
they
feels
went
like
that
they
route.
focused a lot on Meg, Mason, Madison, Molly, Dave, Lauren, and that's about it. So,
Yeah, and I did hear that Madison is allegedly going to be on the perfect match. So that would make sense why they gave her airtime. But
yes.
I feel like they still could have, even if they showed us Alex and Madison's dynamic, and Alex and or Mason and Madison's dynamic, like there was still room to show us, especially because the mom says that Vanessa and Adams like was pretty dramatic. Like they were crying and they were like it
Yes.
was like this big whole scene. So not really sure why it
Yes.
wasn't shown.
Yeah, too bad we didn't get to see that, but that's nice that they gave it a try outside of the pods and the real world, but I guess they made the right choice not getting engaged because
Hmm.
it all worked out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That mixed with like the fact that there are couples that actually got engaged and are still engaged. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, you never know what's in the mind of production. I get that they cannot follow everyone. And as a producer, you have to make the executive decision to follow what you think. At the end of the day, you have to make the decision to follow what you think is going to make the best show. You know what
And
I
you're
mean?
right. I think they are also building that up on their follow-up shows like Perfect Match. So, whoever they take from Love is Blind to put on Perfect Match, they definitely have to show us all their story and really build that up. So,
Because
it does probably weigh a lot.
Perfect Match filmed before Love is Blind season 8 filmed, didn't it?
No, well,
Or
Love is Blind
before it
season 8.
aired.
Yeah, before it airs. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it filmed, Perfect Match filmed in August, September of last year. So,
Hmm.
and then it won't air probably, hopefully sooner this year. Last year, I think we got it May, end of May, June.
Hmm.
So it would be nice to get it sooner, but I don't know. We've got Temptation Island coming out on Netflix And there will be some people from that on Perfect Match. So we know it
Mm,
won't be coming until after that. So
okay.
probably May again would be my guess.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
okay. But yeah, that's a fun little fact that there was
Yeah.
another couple that made it all the way up to engagement day. So,
Yes, we love hearing all those things that we didn't get to see. So I
yeah.
like the behind the scenes tea. So
Yeah, and
thanks to
maybe
Vanessa's mom for sharing
yeah,
that.
maybe Vanessa will get to share more of her story. I know a lot of
Hopefully.
yeah, I know the audience likes to see those untold stories. So,
Yes. And you
yeah.
people keep asking us about the Alex tea, and they keep seeing comments everywhere and videos being made without
Yeah.
any proof or receipts. So,
Yeah, so there's a lot going on about Alex. Up until this point, it's been all Reddit threads and anonymous Facebook groups. I did speak to some of the women myself, and I, gathered as much receipts as I could. When you're dealing with sensitive topics, it's like I feel so insensitive being like, listening to a story and then being like, well, do you approve? Like, you know what I mean? So I did make a
yeah.
video on TikTok. It actually got taken down because it included minors in the video. Because I was able to get some pictures, get some photos. Which I did make a video and I shared it on my Instagram. I think the story with receipts is very important, so it's not, you're not just like, I'm just saying what I found and what was shown to me. I'm not implicating anything either which way. I just wanted to present what I found by talking to these women and let the audience decide for themselves what they think transpired. So if you're interested in that, I do have a video up on my Instagram. It will also be up on my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel, not the Reality Receipts podcast YouTube channel. I Storytime with Rikkii on all platforms. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, you could get a little bit
Yeah.
more details about what the allegations that are going on about Alex without just, that's not just a
Yeah.
Reddit
We
post or
didn't
not just a Facebook post.
yeah, we didn't want to just have a casual chat about it because yeah, it's something that it's not really our words, it's these women's words, and
Mm-hmm.
so it should just be read what they have to say about it and not us just like casually giving our opinion on it because it is so serious. So that's why we're putting it on Ricky's page because she has done the thorough deep dive and actually has the evidence. So we
Yeah.
don't want to say anything without those receipts showing right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. All
Yeah.
right, should we
So
get into our recap of the episodes? Because there's
let's
a
do
lot
it.
to talk about.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it by couple because I feel like it just
Yes,
works better by couple. So
I agree.
who's first on the chopping block?
Well, why don't we start with Taylor and Daniel because that's how the episode 7 opens.
Okay.
Left us on a cliffhanger at
Mm,
episode 6 with
right.
them painting out our poor Daniel to be like a creepy stalker, like The Shining, like busting through the door. I saw like a funny meme like that. They just really had us thinking that he had somehow tracked her down and found her there, and they really blew it a little bit out of proportion. So
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. I know in the comments I've seen a lot of people still thinking he did follow her on Instagram, but
Yeah.
not that it was anything like sinister or like that he had followed her there, just that maybe it was a coincidence. But
Mm.
I didn't know about these apps. Did you know that you can have an app to tell you who unfollows you?
Yes, like I don't have one, but my friend definitely has one where there are apps that will tell you who unfollowed you. I mean,
Why would you want to know that? I don't get it. Like
I
then
don't
you
know, because
confront
some
them.
people some people want to know so that you can then like go unfollow them. It's like petty.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's
Yeah.
petty like girl stuff. It's like
Love
it's
it.
petty girl stuff. But yeah, so they end up giving Taylor her phone back and letting her
Hmm.
check if the person that unfollowed her was in fact Daniel. She wasn't able to verify if it was Daniel, so she ends up just saying, "I'm sorry, like I don't know, I guess." And they kind of like
Yeah.
blow over it, but Daniel still was like maybe I did there's a chance that maybe I did follow you and unfollow
Yeah.
you. Like there's a chance my name may be there, but like because I love that he was so open to the idea, like maybe,
Yeah.
but there was no malicious intent of like I knew what you looked like and I knew
Hmm.
all these details about you. I feel like that would be I felt when they first said it in the first set of episodes like this is a stretch. Like
Hmm.
this is
Well,
a
like I said,
stretch.
they were really like now, like if you saw that, then watched it back, they really were playing it up a lot the whole time of him. It seeming like he was just liking everything she liked, and how would he know this? And they really were playing it up. And then when like the scene when they give her the phone, they have like the dramatic like horror music playing, and yeah, they really made it more dramatic than it was. Because like we said, even if he did follow her, it wasn't. He was very forthcoming about like maybe I did. Like if he had been like no, there's no way. I never would have done that and was like very like protesting against it, then we might have been like, that's weird. Like why
Yeah,
what's the big it's not a big deal. So I
right.
think his reaction was perfect. It was like maybe I did. I don't know.
Like
I
maybe
didn't
I
keep
did.
track
Like
of that.
maybe yeah, like maybe I did follow a random cute girl on Instagram and then unfollow her because she didn't follow me back. That doesn't necessarily mean that I stalked you and knew you were coming
Hmm.
to the show and like,
It
you
is
know,
interesting though, like hearing this whole Lauren and Dave thing, and she gave an interview and said that she had told friends that she was going on like 2 months before. So some of them, I guess, do know a little bit ahead of time. So I guess she maybe was concerned he had told people he was going on, and those friends heard Taylor was going on, and so he just wanted to like look her up before he got there to see if she would be someone he would be interested in. Like,
now that is a
yeah.
different
Well,
dynamic. Now
because
that would be interesting.
and I've heard previous cast members say that that's happened where they got cast on the show, they looked at the casting director that followed them, then they saw who they recently followed, and they were looking at the people. So
That's what
I
happened
think,
with Uche and Lydia, right?
yeah,
Allegedly.
yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like it is a similar situation, and it is like it seems like there's ways for them to check a little bit and see who might else be there, which is like a little bit of cheating the system, but also risky, like we said before. Like, okay, so he knew Taylor was on, but unless he knew her exact name and last name, it would be like I don't know. It'd be risky to get engaged to someone and be like, I think I saw you on Instagram, and what if you had the wrong person? So,
Right, and it's like he could have creeped. He didn't have to
yeah,
necessarily hit the follow button. Now that makes a little bit more sense if like the town is small, which it appears that that town is very small because
very small.
Lauren and Dave know they have the same friend group, and then Ben's
Hmm.
dated everyone in Minneapolis. Like, so it seems
Yeah.
like it seems
Every day I
there's
have a
some.
new comment of someone that dated Ben. So he's been a busy man because I don't know how he has the time for all these
Seriously,
girlfriends.
I think I see a video every day too. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Ben was your ex. She's like, God, how many exes
Yeah.
does he have?
Like
But
how many days are in the year? Because I don't think he could have this many exes. But
yeah,
I think everyone has a different idea of ex and dating. And, we've learned
true.
that through these episodes of like the word ex has a different definition to everyone and it causes a lot of problems. So,
Yeah. Well, ultimately, they blew over it, and I think
mhm.
I found Taylor and Daniel to actually be quite cute. I
They're
think
the
we get,
best.
yeah, I think they're very sweet together. I think he seems to really love her. I think
Hmm.
they make a handsome couple. And I found them to be like our traditional, we get one every season, our
Yeah.
traditional loving, boring, drama-free couple. So I think they had it
Yes.
to create a
No one saw
little
that
bit of
coming.
drama. Yeah. They
I
needed
said it
to
was
create
like
a
the
little
comeback
bit.
of the century. They ended they ended episode 6 of him being some kind of creep, and then the end of episode 9, he's like the best man we've ever seen on the show. So it's really
Yeah.
crazy the turnaround that he had. So
Yeah, I think he's sweet, and the more you look at him, I feel like, oh, he's good
yes,
looking, like he's
he's
just
getting a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio.
okay.
Yes, people think
I
he,
thought that, but then I thought, okay, don't push it. Like
yeah,
he's good looking, but don't push it.
yeah,
He ain't no Leonardo DiCaprio. But you know what? Yes, I see Leo.
yes.
Leo's fine.
Similar, maybe not like identical, but a
Not
long lost
identical.
cousin or something.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
I agree. So
So
Daniel and they ended up being,
yeah,
very, very cute. Very cute.
they seem very serious about marriage, and their families were really sweet as well. I love
Mm-hmm.
Daniel's sister and his parents, and I mean his parents they said were married for 34 years and her parents
Oh
50
wow.
years,
Oh
so they have
wow.
big shoes to fill. Yes, it's like they all seem to put a lot of importance on marriage.
The
So
value of marriage. Yeah, I think I think they meshed well together. I think their families meshed well together. I think they meshed well together. And I was
yeah,
like, yeah,
some
I'm here
people
for
thought
it.
her mom was a little hard on the situation, but I think I could see where she's coming from. Like that would be overwhelming to know that your child got engaged in a pod after 10 days. Like, it's not shocking that someone would be a little trepidatious about it
Right,
because,
right. Especially if you're going through with it. Like if you are like, I think like if a lot of the families, if they know like you're not serious, you're not actually going to get married,
yeah,
whatever. You just kind of did
we're
this
just
for a
on
TV
TV.
show.
But
Yeah, you're just on
yeah.
TV. But like
Yeah.
I think if like you're actually planning on getting married, you're actually planning a wedding, it raises some eyebrows. I personally
Yeah.
don't think my mom would care. She'd be like, "Finally, she's fucking getting married."
Nice.
Just do it. But I think I think, it is
Yeah.
concerning. Like, you've only known this person for what, 3 weeks? Yeah,
Like
yeah.
10 days.
Calm
Well, like
down. Calm down.
Taylor's mom said, like, that's such a weird thing to put in a sentence together. Like, nice to meet you and good luck marrying my daughter. Like, that's a lot just for one
Yes.
first meeting. So, but
Yeah.
they did seem to all really like each other. So,
Yeah. I thought they were great.
no, no clouds ahead for them that we can see. It looks like smooth sailing. So,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
yes. So,
Next up.
yeah, should we talk about maybe a less smooth sailing couple or more another smooth sailing couple like Devin and Virginia? Things are going pretty well for them too.
Yes, I found them to be very sweet too. These past episodes, like,
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen people say like, "Oh, she seems fake because she's just like, thank you all the time and not really doesn't seem like her real personality." But I feel like that is just how she is maybe.
yeah,
Like not everyone is loud and outgoing, and I think she's just sweet and quiet, and that's her personality. I
demeanor,
don't think it
yeah.
means that she's being fake. I think that's just how she is, and they seem to have a good connection. I
Yeah.
think obviously the age is kind of not bothering them both, but they do keep bringing it up a bit because when the woman is the older one, it seems to be more of a big deal because women tend to be more emotionally mature, and she does
Mhm.
have her shit together. So I think, yeah, that's probably if they're going to have any problems, it's going to be he's just not at her level yet. I think.
Yes, and I think that's the thing for me. Like, I found them to be cute. I think they look great together. I think she's attracted to him. I think initially at the
Mhm.
reveal, I was like, I don't know. Like, and
Yeah,
again,
she wasn't giving like
she wasn't giving
happy
like,
with what she
yeah,
saw.
yeah. She was giving, oh God, I made a mistake. Now, I do after you could tell she's more comfortable. You could tell she's warming up to him. I personally feel like she was attracted to him. She was going in for snuggles. She was going in for kisses.
Yeah, the
Now,
hot tub scene that was very intimate. So
yeah. So
I
they
feel like we were
seem
not supposed to see that, but we saw
yeah.
it.
So I feel like there's an attraction there. There's comfort there. I feel like they're both very docile. Like they're both very
Yeah.
quiet and calm. So their personalities seem
They're kind
to
of like the
match each other.
opposite of Joey and Monica. Like,
Absolutely.
I wonder how it would be had they picked each other's
Oh, one would
person.
have been very overwhelmed with the other.
Yes, yeah, it
know,
would be a lot. Yeah,
I
they're
personally
different energies for
like.
sure.
I personally think I would be very bored with somebody like Devin. Like I'd be like,
Yeah, like
but
where's the
but also like with somebody like Joey, it'd be a little too much for me. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
it's
so
kind of like two ends of the extremes for sure.
yes, yes. So I don't know. I found them cute. They're matching bathing suits. I didn't find her to be boring. I found her to be. I thought she opened up a lot more, kind of similar to how Raven was. Her season. Like I know people thought she was
Just a little guarded like first.
yeah, and it's like you're on TV. You know what I mean? Like you have
It's a
cameras
normal
around
reaction.
you. Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
think they got a lot of airtime. They did
No,
not.
that
Like,
was the weird part. It was very, very short snippets of them. It felt like
Yeah.
in comparison to the other couples. So,
yeah.
but what about the prenup conversation? Do you think that's going to be a problem for them or no?
I don't understand why I think it should be a requirement to get a
Yeah.
prenup, especially in these situations. Like Netflix should make it a requirement for these people to get a prenup.
Yes.
I remember on Love is Blind UK, it was such a big deal that Freddie asked Catherine for one, and they tried to make it seem like she didn't want to get one, but she had revealed to me in an interview off camera that like well, I did the interview on camera, but you know, she was like, I didn't even know what a prenup was, and like once he explained it to me, I was totally on board with it.
Yeah.
I think
I
it
mean,
should actually be part of Netflix's process. Like,
yeah, I'm
these
surprised
are
that they don't.
real marriages. Like, these are not fake marriages. You know?
Yeah, and of all the marriages to get a prenup, the one where you only know the person 10 days, that might be the best one to do it for because
Exactly.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with everyone just keeping what they came in with, right? If you're only there for reasons like to get married, then what's the I mean, I don't feel like anyone that has been on this show has ever had like the amount of money where they really need to be concerned that someone's marrying them for their money, but I think it seems like Virginia does well for herself, so I see why she would want to protect
Yeah.
that. And the I think his parents sort of took it as like a the old school way of being like if you get a prenup, you're just literally planning for divorce. Like you're not
Right.
saying this is forever, and I think that's kind of outdated. I mean,
Yeah.
divorces, you don't want to go into a marriage planning for a divorce, but you also have to be smart and they do end in divorce. So it's
Yeah. Yeah,
better
I
safe
used
than
to
sorry.
think that way. I used to think like, well, a prenup means that like you're just thinking it's going to end, but it's like
Yeah.
no, it could just make the like if something does happen, having that prenup in place can just make things so much more seamless. Like I have had friends that have gone through really messy divorces and it just got real ugly at the
Yeah.
end because there was nothing in place, you know? So, I don't think that it's a big deal and Virginia's definitely got a coin to protect,
Yeah.
so she's trying to
Yeah.
like be like, listen, sir. But she seems very pure. Like she seems like she's willing to take on the household if she like she seems like a 50-50 person. If I
Hmm.
don't know if you've heard that argument before, but like she seems like a 50-50 person, like willing to, you know, pick him up if he falls. She's okay with
Hmm.
being the provider.
Yeah, she said
That's just
I would
them.
pay your debts, like our it's the team they were calling it, like it's our debts, it's our money. So
Couldn't
yeah.
be me. Couldn't be me.
It's very generous of her, but
Yeah, hell no, couldn't be me. No, no, because
no.
you pay all his debts and he's still gonna cheat on you, girl. No, just I'm a
It's true.
scorned woman. No.
It's you're realistic, right? I mean, look what we've seen happen on these shows. I mean, Secret Children and yeah,
No.
she's being smart and I don't think anyone can fault her for that. And so hopefully his parents come around to it. I think they will.
Yeah. 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 Hopefully
It
we
makes sense.
see more of them.
What did
Hopefully
you
we see
think of
more.
the pig?
I thought the pig was cute.
The pig is cute.
The pig
I
is
When I
cute.
was younger, I used to go to a babysitter in the neighborhood and they had a potbelly pig named Sweet Pea, but she was not very sweet. So
Oh, I didn't even
she's
know you could have a
adorable.
pig. Like I
Yeah,
didn't
they
even
had
know
one
you
as
could
a
have
pet.
a pig as a pet. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are adorable, but sometimes
They're mean.
I think yeah, I was gonna say they probably all have a different personality. So unfortunately, the one I saw was not nice. But this
Oh
Pico looked very
no,
sweet.
Pico
So
looks sweet.
yes. So do you think Devin is like? What about the shoes? Did you think that was a little wild to spend $700 on shoes, or you feel that's
Well, my
appropriate?
sister is what one would call a sneakerhead. So she
Right.
does collect sneakers. She has a huge sneaker collection, just like Devin. She probably has more sneakers than Devin. So I understand the obsession because
Yeah.
I've experienced it with my sister. I would have to ask her what's the most she's spent on a pair of shoes. I know she likes to get them at retail pricing. A shoe being $700 would be a resale price, which means it's a very popular shoe and
Mm.
you're paying over the cost of retail for it.
So
I
he
think
probably says it's like an investment then, right? Because
yeah,
one day
because
it'll be
that
worth more.
seriously, because that $700 shoe could then go for sometimes these pairs of
Yeah.
shoes go for like 10 grand. Like sneaker
Oh wow.
culture is like a thing. So
Yeah.
I didn't find it too crazy, especially if
No.
he's not like splurging and like buying this like every single day, or you know, he said he probably buys two a month or something, and as long as he's financially responsible and he's
Hmm.
got some money. It sounds like he got some money, but I don't know, because they
Yeah.
be lying. They be
It's just
saying,
hanging in his closet. So
they just be lying
he's
and
like
saying they got
he's
stuff.
the Carrie Bradshaw of Love Is Blind. So.
Yes, yes, there we go. So I mean, he sounds like he's got some money too. Like he was like, if they want to go on a vacation or if they're ready to buy a house, but I don't know that he would like come on camera and say he's broke or anything, but they be lying. So you never know. Cause I don't know, basketball coach just gave broke, but you know, what do I know? I did date a little basketball coach before. He didn't have no money.
So
He had no money.
So this is coming from personal experience then.
Yes. But what do I know? I don't know. Hell.
So Joey and Monica, should we talk about Joey and Monica?
So
they are adorable.
They're adorable.
I originally said they give me like friend, brother, sister energy because they are so similar. But I do see a little bit of more like some sparks and connection and passion there. But I don't know. I still think they might be a little too similar to each other to be like long lasting.
Yeah, so. I found them very enjoyable to watch. Like I found myself like smiling and stuff like when they were on screen. Like if I had to pick a favorite couple up until this point, it would actually be Joey and Monica for me. They seem just delighted to be around each other. They seem like you said, very similar. He fit right in with her family besides that little trifling sister, which we'll get there. Yeah. But I just found them to be very cute, very cute, very high energy, very like happy, just happy to be around each other, giddy, like, you know, like how you would want it to feel if you just met a person and you're engaged and you just guys are just in like la la land. Like I just,
because that like best friend energy can be great for a marriage and a couple if they have the other parts of it too. So I think that can definitely work really well for them. But it's just, I don't know if they have the passion that we see from some of the other couples, but they do seem to get along really well, which I think that's the most important thing in a marriage because the other stuff does fade eventually when you're older. So if you have that bond that will keep them laughing for their whole life, I think that's really hard to find. So
I thought they were great. I found them very cute. What did you think of that sister?
Yeah, that was scary. I don't have any sisters, so I don't know like what a normal sister dynamic is. Like, is there a lot of jealousy and competitiveness or
no? I mean, I guess there could be. I have two sisters. I'm very close to my younger sister. I'm very close to my older sister. But my older sister does kind of have that component of like making everything about herself. So when the sister was like we make fun of my sister and whenever she does it we'd be like, what about me because and that's what it reminded me of when Monica's mom was like, you guys are so cute, right? And then the sister goes, what about us, are we cute? And I was like, oh, you know, I don't know, but the jealousy on her end was like almost hateful. Like I don't think you should have that kind of like hate in your heart for your sister. I feel like that's a problem. And I think it stems from, I don't know if you caught that. They basically said that Monica was talking to him first, like getting to know him first. I was going to say. People thought that,
I saw like a few comments say they thought that Monica's sister didn't like Joey because of how he said, oh, like her man was going for Monica first, or he's still trying to get to her, he's still thinking about her, and she didn't like that. So, because it might be like true, maybe, I don't know.
It is true. Like, I mean, her face was like,
like
she did not like that. But I think that can't feel good if you're significant other wanted your sister first and your sister
I don't think I would date that person.
I would not date that person. Like
that'd be like a deal breaker, you know?
Yeah, like Monica kind of slid him to her sister. Like they minimized it probably to say, he was chatting it up with Monica, and she said, I think you'll be a better fit for my sister. But obviously this guy was chatting it up with you because he had an interest in you. And the fact that the sister went along with that and dated him, I would always be thinking, like, do you want my sister? Did you want my sister? Are you just settling for me? And I'm sure she has those thoughts. Her bad. You decided to date the guy anyway. And then, Joey's just like, oh, like he's just so.
He said what everyone was thinking.
Like, he's just like so playful about like, oh, it's working out in your favor. Like, you're just trying to stay close to Monica. And the boyfriend's like, got me. Like, he's feeding right into it. And the sister's like pissed about it, and everybody's like, ha, 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 ha. And it's like she didn't think that was funny. Like,
No,
I'm
because
sure that's an
it's too
insecurity.
true, I think.
It's true. It's true. Or there's a
Hmm.
possibility that it's true. And I think that that's her fault. You decided to date this man knowing that he showed interest in your sister. That's weird.
Hmm.
Now, what did
Yeah.
you think of her and Monica's conversation when they got outside?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little strange the way she was like, I'm the older sister, so I should get married first. And like, that's not necessarily true. I mean, if you never know when you're going to find that person and get married, and having those kind of like expectations of yourself that you're older, so you should get married first, just seems like it could end in disaster because
Yeah.
it shouldn't really be about that. That just seems
Yeah.
like making it a competition, you know?
Yeah, you're a hater. That's the thing. You're a hater.
Hmm.
My sister's younger than me and she's married. Like, I'm not married. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not about
Hmm.
that. Like you said, it's about finding your person and when it happens. And it's like,
Yeah.
if we want to put it that way, you've had 5 more years to get married. And it's like,
Hmm.
it hasn't happened for you and you shouldn't be in competition with your sister. You just shouldn't. And it's like, she instantly was like, well, I don't think you guys' personalities match, and I don't think
Hmm.
you're attracted to him. And it's like, you've known him for 5 minutes. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, their personalities literally match. Like, they're literally the
Hmm.
same person. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, it seemed more like she was more concerned about Monica actually getting married first, so she just was trying to convince her not to like Joey versus like a genuine concern. Like, there's some people that she could have brought home where it'd be like, okay, I see where your concerns are coming from. But I
yeah,
mean, Joey seems great. So it seemed like her concerns and problems with him were coming more from a place of like jealousy or just,
hater,
yeah. Yeah.
hater. Like, she's
Yes.
a
The
hater.
hater
She's
is
a
in the building.
She
It's not
she's
good.
a grade A hater. I was like, literally, what, like, if my sister was acting like that, like, I would have to cut her off because you could just tell that if something does happen at that altar where Joey says no
Hmm.
or they don't end up getting married, that sister is going to be filled with joy, like
Yeah.
literal joy. And
You're
that's
right, because I
just,
was gonna say, imagine if Joey says no, that he's gonna have to look out for that sister. But I think you're right; she's gonna be happy, so
she's
that's kind
gonna
of
be
sad.
happy,
Hmm.
and that's disgusting. Like, I just feel like I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt to say that maybe production, like behind the scenes, was like, give her a little push, like be a
Hmm.
little blunt, give Joey some give him some shit, like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we'll have production do that to stir up some drama,
Hmm.
like, oh, we'll
Yeah.
like ask him why he's single, or you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
I don't know, when Monica was like, oh, she's just a little blunt. And then when she went into like, well, she's never liked any of my boyfriends, I was like, oh, you're
Yeah,
just
that
a
was a
hate.
good
You're jealous.
point he made. Hmm.
Yeah. And
I have,
Joey handled it very well, in my opinion.
he did.
Yeah.
I have a very serious question though.
Yeah.
Do you have a sock bin in your family? Because I have never heard of this before in my life.
I've never heard of that before.
Okay, I thought it was just
Like,
me. I'm like, is everyone having sock bins? And here we have our own little sock drawer. So
so was she like implying that everybody just shares socks?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Like
It like,
you just if you need a certain kind of sock, you go in the bin. And then Joey was like, but like everyone else's feet have been in those, and she's like, that's my family feet, so I don't care. But I'm like, okay, so are you sharing like toothbrushes and underwear? Like, where does it
yeah, that's what he
stop?
said. Like, I love that Joey made a little joke and was like, yeah, do you guys have like a shared underwear bin too? Because it is kind of the same. Like, I didn't know. Like, yeah, if I go to my sister's house and I need a pair of socks, will I put on her socks? Sure. Like, but she's not like, give me my socks back. It's like, now those are my socks. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, and
very
now
interchangeable.
yeah. And
Yeah,
it's like, if you need a pair of socks, I will give you some, but like, we're not going to continuously wear the same socks. But I did
no.
think that Joey fit in very well with her family. I thought the Fam Jam concert was so cute. Like,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
think, yeah, he seems great.
he did seem like a great fit in the family. So that's the part where, yeah, I'm like, they are so similar that it could be amazing or not good. And so far, it seems amazing, like
Yeah.
a great fit. So,
Yeah, he like literally clocked Monica's sister so quickly. Like, he's like folding his laundry all calmly, and he's like, I think she's jealous of you. I think she has some unresolved
yeah,
issues
he
with
called
you.
it.
Like, he's like, I think you
And
need
has
to talk
anyone
to
ever
her.
been good enough for you? No. So it's
Yeah,
like, it's
like,
not a Joey problem, it's a sister problem.
yeah,
So,
he's like, I think you need to talk to her. I just love the way Joey handled it. So I'm curious to see how that
mhm.
plays
Yeah,
out. Like,
I wonder how it's gonna be meeting his family and if they're going to be easier on Monica or the same. So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah. Yeah, her
Yes, but
sister sex and she's a hater. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully she watches it and it stops her
Self-reflect.
hater ways.
Yeah,
Yes.
self-reflects, girl. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Don't be mad. Happy hoes ain't hating and hating hoes ain't happy. Haven't you heard the saying?
Exactly. You should be happy for your sister at least. Maybe we can hate on other people, but not your own
Yeah,
sister.
not your
That
own
needs to be
sister.
supportive.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
So, speaking of not supportive, we should talk about Dave and Lauren because there's
Yeah.
a lot going on there.
Oh my God, we're gonna be here for an hour. There's so much
Yeah,
to talk about.
we
I
could
feel
do a whole
like
episode
we could
on
do a
them
whole
because
episode on them. They got all the airtime. Like I
yeah,
feel like they took up 70% of
yeah, they did.
these episodes. For
Beginning
sure.
with like the group meetup, and he like asked every single couple about their sex life. So I don't know what the motive was there. Like he was just genuinely curious, or did they ask him to, or like
Maybe they asked him to. And I do think that at the meetup, everybody is curious who had sex. Like, it's just
yeah,
a thing that we see every season. I think the viewers want to know. I think
that's
the
true.
cast wants to know. Maybe he just had the balls to ask it. But I think what threw me off is that, like, he was asking both the men and the women as if there was going to be a different answer. Because we literally see him ask Devin and then he goes and asks Virginia. Like, did you
Yeah,
think there was
it's
going to
like
be
you
a
already
different
got
answer?
this answer.
Yeah.
And you
Like,
know what's so funny is when he did his Vile Files interview last week before these episodes aired, I think they asked him sort of like, what can we expect to come? And that was literally what he said. He's like, oh, like me, I might have asked people about like their sex lives. Like he was nervous about it. Like he knew it was going to be a thing, and it was a thing. So
it was
it's not like
something.
they edited it and it looked worse than it was. Like he knew. He asked every single person on that beach what they were doing in the bedroom. So
Multiple
he was
times.
prepared for them to play that. So
Multiple times.
I don't
And I
think
think it's worth mentioning that based on what Dave was able to calculate, nobody had sex
thank
the
you,
first
Dave.
night. Thank you, Dave.
No. What
No
about
sex happened.
not Taylor and Daniel?
No,
Did
they
not
all
say?
no. Everybody
Okay.
said no. So I think is this the first season we've seen that where nobody's had sex on the first night?
I think so, because usually at least half of them are getting right down to it. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
think
a
a
long
lot.
time that they're just talking. So I can see why. Like, also, you know, you want to test the product before you go
Thanks.
farther. So I
I
see
don't
why
know
they
that
get, but
I
it would
don't
be
know that I
awkward.
would. Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
because
like
you
that's a
don't
lot.
know these people, and typically your first night on the vacation is your first night, you know, together,
Alone
like
together. Yeah.
alone together after the pods. I don't know that I would feel comfortable. But I guess it's like it's based on your connection, and technically
hmm
this is your fiance. But then it's like if you have no plan on actually marrying this person, it's like, is this your fiance? But I
hmm
think I did notice. I said I think this is the first season we got where
Yeah,
nobody got
nobody did.
freaky.
And did you think Dave was upset that they hadn't? Like the whole bikini wax thing, like he felt like that was an excuse or like
Oh,
he was
it's true. By
understanding?
the way, it's true. You're not supposed to do the nasty 24 hours after a bikini wax, but you're also not supposed to get in a hot tub, which I noticed
Oh,
she was in a hot tub. So
oh no.
if she wanted to drop them draws, she could have, but she didn't. She didn't.
She was
Now,
only breaking some of the rules, so.
yes,
But
and
yeah, I couldn't.
I do think that he was upset about it though, because
Okay, yeah, I was
the
like, I
way
couldn't
she
get a read on that.
painted it, the way she painted it was like, oh, like she kind of threw it out there, like I
Yeah,
just got a bikini wax and I can't do it for
don't
24
even try.
hours. Yeah, like don't even try it. But then she was like, she made a little statement that was like, I was kind of looking forward to that. So maybe
Yeah.
he thought he was going to get it after 48 hours and after, and then it just kind of didn't happen because we hear
hmm
him say in the apartment, like, we haven't even been intimate yet. And I said,
hmm
oh, okay, that's what you're really mad about, sir. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you're really mad about. But we'll get
It's
there.
weird
But
that I was gonna say, it's weird that he's so concerned about that when it seems like all these other things are bothering him. But I guess he was talking all about the sex on the beach, and then when they got their phones back is when he found out about all this Jim Tan Law Man. So
mhm, mhm,
should we
mhm.
get into Jim Tan Law Man? Because When I
Yes.
posted it a few days ago, people were very confused because he has his own Love is Blind profile picture. And they were like, wait a minute, he was on this season. And I had to break the news that no, he made his own posters. So,
Yes. Oh my God. So many
yeah,
people were like, yeah, I remember seeing him in the pods. And I'm like, no, 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 no. He was,
he was
no,
not
no,
there.
he wasn't there. He made this himself. I know
Yeah.
everybody looks alike and he fits
Hmm.
right into it. Um,
So, yeah, he has confirmed, and she said on the show they were just like a hookup, like friends with benefits. They were never dating. They were never a thing, right? So do you think
mhm.
Dave's just making a big too big of a deal out of this?
Yes, I do think so. So in my opinion, it seems like Dave is trying to get out of the engagement, or like maybe is not feeling Lauren. I think that there's some underlying feelings of him being upset that they're not
Hmm.
getting freaky and he wants some booty, so he's like he mad. So there's that, but then it's like I do have this other side of like I wonder how the audience would react if the roles were reversed and Dave had a
Yes,
friends
I
with
was thinking
benefit.
about that too. If
Yes.
some woman came forward and said, I just slept with him a few days or a week or whatever it is before he went on, we would probably be like, oh wow, like he wasn't looking for a wife, he's not serious. So yeah, I do
Yeah.
see his side of that. But it's like she has said she didn't want to date this guy, she didn't want to marry this guy,
Right.
and men say that all the time too. Like I wasn't interested in her that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's hard to.
I think the main difference is that men lie so goddamn much that you can't trust their word. And it's like if a woman says like, oh, like he's a friends with benefits, I didn't see myself dating him seriously, I think we believe that, right? But then if a
Yeah.
guy says like, oh, it was just nothing, like, you know, and I'm ready to get married but it just wasn't to her, I'm like, you're
Hmm.
lying. You probably told this girl you wanted to marry her, or she probably thought
Yes.
it was like a lot more serious than it is. So I think that is the difference. I do think like I do think that Dave making her sex life a storyline or like putting so much
Hmm.
emphasis on it was rude, because it's like it almost felt like to me like he was slut shaming her. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you just had a friends with benefits, and my friends
Hmm.
are saying that
Well, and we
you
don't know. I
just
mean, for all we know, Dave could have been hooking up with women the few weeks before he left, but they haven't had anyone come forward. So he's throwing all the stones, but we don't know if he's living in the glass house. So,
And
I
it's like
mean,
his friends are really throwing the stones, right? Because
yeah.
he's not trusting what Lauren is telling him. Lauren
Hmm.
is telling him it was casual. We were friends with benefits. We were not going to date anyone else. And just for the record, I have had another woman in my DM. I haven't fully gotten the story yet, but she says that she was also a friends with benefits with Dan, Jim
Hmm.
Tanlaw, around the same time that
Yeah.
he was friends with benefits with Lauren. So that would check out that they were casual.
Yeah, it confirms that Lauren, like you said, because with men, sometimes they'll say, oh, it was just a hookup, but they weren't actually telling that woman that it was only a hookup. But we've had it confirmed through him and through other women that this man was hooking up with other women. He never thought Lauren was his girlfriend. He never thought it was serious. So everyone
Yeah.
involved was aware of what it was. So
Yeah.
it's not
And I
really
think there's this
the only
implication.
person making the big deal is Dave about it. No one
Yes.
else cares.
Dave and his friends, right? Because,
Yes.
or is it coming from his friends, or is Dave just pretending
Or is
like
he
it's coming
texting
from.
them like, please get me out of this engagement and make a big deal out
Yeah.
of this? Because
That's
that's
what
what
I
it's
don't
giving.
get. That's what I don't get, because he keeps saying that. And I think that's why women are coming forward like, oh, well, I was dating Dan too, or Jim Tan Law. Like, I don't like that's why women are coming forward, because Dave is making it seem like this guy perceived the relationship as something different, and he
Mm-mm.
didn't. From my
No.
understanding, he didn't. He is on board with Lauren that this was casual. So Dave, like, I don't know why Dave wouldn't let Lauren talk to the friends. Like, Lauren
Yeah.
wanting to talk to the friends and being like, hey, y'all are so worried about my stuff, like let me talk to you guys and tell you guys what's going on. Like,
Yeah, that was sad when he went out with his friends and just left her by herself crying because, yeah,
yeah, I
it
wish she
just
would just
seems,
take off her ring and be like, you know what, if you
yeah,
want to believe your friends, why don't you go marry them, or marry your sister? Because my God,
yeah.
the way he was talking about his sister, no, my sister knows you were dating this guy, like.
Yeah, it's a little strange that we haven't met his sister yet, and it didn't seem like she was aware that he was going on the show because he said like he came back to her freaking out on the phone about him being engaged, and
Mhm.
so he's not really giving that he went there to actually get married. It sort of seems like he's in too deep now and he's just looking for an excuse to get out because
Yeah.
yeah, he's not brought his sister around and he didn't take her to meet his friends and I
It's
think
like, if
he's
you're so obsessed with your sister, like, how come she didn't know you were going on the show? Like, it
yeah, and like
doesn't.
wouldn't
It's
you
all weird.
immediately like FaceTime her with Lauren? And I think he's just so excited that this thing came out and that he has a reason to end it because he's making it a way bigger deal than it is.
Yeah. Do you think what do you think's like gonna happen with it? Like, do you think,
I don't
because
think
it's like, because, okay, think about it, like, so, because he said something along the lines of, like, every time I'm in bed with you or every time I'm laying with you, like, I just think she was just doing this with some other guy.
yeah.
And it's like,
I know. Like you said, it is hard because, like, to play devil's advocate, we would, if he was doing that and Lauren felt upset about it, we would be understanding and be like, I
yeah.
mean, he probably was more serious with this girl that was just in his bed.
Yeah, I feel
So,
like she was just so forthcoming about it, and
yeah.
it's not something that she really had to share if she didn't want to, because it's like, it's before you. But I
Hmm.
do think of all of the people beforehand that, we've seen it every season where people come
Hmm.
into the show with a little something something going on, so it does raise a few red flags. I remember Amber specifically, from that season with Matthew and
Oh,
Amber and
like
that whole
season one?
debacle. No, no, no. Matthew, when he was telling Amber,
Oh, yes,
and
yes, yes. Yeah,
I forgot the
Matthew is
other girls.
super. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know who we're talking
Superman,
about.
the one who
Season
looks like,
five? No,
yeah,
season six. Season
Clark
six.
Kent. I remember
Yes,
it
Clark Kent.
coming out that she was kind of seeing someone coming into the experiment,
Hmm.
and she ended up like, and again, like,
I think a
she's,
lot of them do. A lot of them. And that's the thing. It's not even like, because Lauren's situation, it was just a hookup, right? I think a
yeah,
lot of them have someone that they're seeing, like
very
literally
serious.
not a
Yeah,
relationship, but dating that they
right.
end, like Brittany as well from last season had a
Oof.
boyfriend. And yeah, so I think a
Oh
lot of
yes,
them do.
yes, yes,
Yes.
Brittany. Yes.
I think
So
a
yeah,
lot of
I
them
think,
do, and they try to keep it vague without a label up until they go film and see what happens. So I don't know if I was that other partner, I don't know that I would be happy that they come back sort of like I didn't find anyone better there, so do you want to like still do this? Because
or
yeah.
it's, or all along it's like, oh, I'm just going for exposure and blah blah blah, and then, like, I'll be back. Like, I know in Amber's situation specifically, they claim that it was casual, but she was running around the lounge telling somebody she had somebody special back home, and now she's engaged to the man, so clearly it was more
Hmm.
serious than what you let on. And
Yeah.
it's just, I think but I think the fact that Lauren was so forthcoming, like, it was casual, and the man
Hmm.
is on the same page. That's why I don't understand why Dave is so adamant that this guy's still trying to reach out to you, still trying to hang out with you. How do you know that? How do you know that?
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. No. Yeah, and we've heard different because he said that he was approached to be on the show and then
Mm-hmm.
he said no, but then we've also heard that she said in this interview that she asked him like can we talk and he was like yeah but in person as though he wanted to be on camera. So they're both giving different stories about the camera time and who wanted what, but I think from his Instagram it's clear that he was a bit of a clout chaser, like he was really trying to get attention, so that
Mm-hmm.
is making it seem more like her story is true on that he did want to be on camera, but he says that he did not. So
But he showed text proof that production did ask him to be on camera. You know what
mhm.
I mean? So I think that if he wanted to be on camera, he could have. But
Yeah.
again, you can't control your edit when you're on camera. You cannot
Hmm.
control your edit when you're on camera, so you take that risk.
Well, and
Now, I
since
do think that he didn't have to reveal himself. I do think that
mhm.
if he didn't reveal himself, no one would have known who he was. I don't know that the internet would have found him if he didn't
Well,
start
and not
speaking
only
out
like
about it.
reveal himself, but literally make like fake podcast clips. Like he went really far with it. So yeah,
Did
it's
you see the
and
Nick
now he's gone
Lachey?
private and he's deleted
Oh.
it. So I don't know what happened. He wanted attention, now he doesn't want attention. So I think
I
maybe
don't.
he's
I
realized
He's
there's
not
not
getting
much
the
else to
attention,
say. So yeah.
and I don't think he's getting the type of attention he thought he would get. And I don't. I'm trying my best to, like, understand what attention he thought he was gonna get. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. Like we
Yeah.
said, and like I think we said in our first episode that like, what attention did you think we were gonna get? Because if he
Hmm.
hadn't said that he was the one involved with Lauren, I'm not sure that anybody would have No.
The part that I find very strange is David was following him when we first discovered him.
They
So,
they were
yeah.
friends.
Uh
Dave
huh.
admits on the show that they hung out a few times. I
But he
think
was like
Minneapolis.
following him on Instagram, so that,
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe that's not so serious, but I'm like, that's more than just I sort of know of him. Like, that's more like,
from what I hear, uh, Jim Tan Law and Dave's best friend are very close. So
okay. So they,
we hear him say that they were like the friend group was all on a ski trip when they found out about the engagement. So
hmm
Jim Tan Law and Dan's best friend were literally together on a ski trip when they found Dan,
oh, wow. Dave, yeah.
Dan, blah 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 blah
That's
blah
why
blah
we
blah.
call him Jim Tan Law,
Yeah,
because
Jim
it's
Tan Law
Dan
and
and Dave is too
yes,
much, so.
Jim Tan Law and Dave's best friend were on a
Okay.
ski
So
trip
there is
together.
a
So
pretty close
there
connection
is a
then.
very close connection in that friend
hmm
group, which makes me wonder if Dan is so close to Dave's best friend and Dan was dating Lauren, how has Dave and Lauren never crossed paths? But
Yeah.
I guess that's also a testament to how casual they were, because Lauren said that he didn't meet any of her friends. I'm assuming
hmm
she didn't meet any of his friends. So
Well, and I hate
there's really nothing
giving
there.
Dave the benefit of the doubt or to play devil's advocate, because we have seen him do other questionable things,
I'm
but like
not giving him
you
the
know,
benefit of the doubt. I think Dave's an
no, I'm just
asshole.
I'm just saying I can see how if it was reversed and like,
For sure.
so yeah, so like Lauren's best friend is with a girl, and when she finds out Lauren got engaged and this girl is like, "Oh, I haven't been sleeping with him for the last couple months," like we would be like, "That's sus," and we would
Yeah.
be wondering. So like you
Yeah.
said, because Lauren has been so forthcoming with
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes it a little different. We feel like, yeah, she didn't see this man as a relationship potential, and she was honest about that. So
And I
that's
don't
sort
think
of the
that
difference.
having a friends with benefit, I don't think that having a friends with benefit necessarily means that you're not ready for marriage. It just,
Yeah. And
you
I mean,
know,
we can see why she probably would not want to marry that guy when he made his own Love is Blind poster. So
yeah. And
I
you,
don't think,
just, sir, you mad you not getting no benefits. That's what it
yeah,
is. You mad you not getting no benefits.
yeah.
Dave,
He,
not Dan,
yeah.
Dave.
Dave, Dan. No,
Yeah,
yeah, Dave.
Dave. Yeah, no, Dan, Dave, no,
They
Dave,
all
no, Dan.
they need nicknames or something. Jim Tanlot, then it's just too many names, the similar
Yeah.
names.
So how I don't I'm so I guess that's where we left off with them, is the cliffhanger of like he
Yeah,
said,
he
"I
left
don't
her
want you to
alone.
meet your friends." She
hmm
asked him, "I would prefer you not to leave." So it
Yeah.
seems like he's been leaving the apartment and not really spending any time there. And
Well,
he
she did
left
say in
anyway.
this the same interview, she said he only spent one night away from the apartment. So
Mm,
I found the interview, she was very defensive of Dave, which surprised me. But I mean, I understand they want to protect each other because they've gone through this experience together. But she
mm,
was very protective of him. So it made me feel like they are on good terms. I don't know where
mm,
they stand today. We'll find out at the reunion. But
mm-hmm.
she definitely was nice about him and like explaining away a lot of what he did. So seems like
Mm.
they're at least friends, if not more. We'll find out.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess there's
Maybe she
I
thought
guess
we're roasting him hard enough, so she's like, I'll do him a solid and be nice about him,
yeah,
which I get.
like I don't know. I feel like Dave is definitely a big, big villain this season. Like nobody
Yeah.
likes it.
I don't think he thought that was going to happen. I feel like he thought that he was going to be like the sad one because she had a boyfriend and he was, because I think I told you back when I originally posted your story about Brittany having a boyfriend, I
hmm
saw someone look at the story right away and I knew they were on the Minneapolis cast and it
hmm
happened to be Dave. And I was like, that's interesting. Because I would assume someone must have sent him the story. He wasn't following me at the time. So I just thought
mm
I knew right then and there. I'm like, he's going to be involved in some kind of,
You
someone
said
has a
that.
girlfriend or someone has a boyfriend plot, and it has come true. So
That's
he
really
probably
interesting.
thought, yeah, I think he thought Lauren was going to be the villain for sure. That's where he thought this was heading. So
Ah, he's so loaded.
it never goes the way they think it will. So it must be shocking when it airs and it just goes completely in a different direction than you
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, so final couple then. We've talked about everybody but Ben and Sarah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You seem thrilled to talk about Ben and Sarah. Should we start
I
with should we start with his friends? Because I saw lots of funny videos calling them actors, paid actors, and he's come out with proof that they have hung out other times besides filming. So I don't
Okay.
know.
I find Ben to be extremely annoying in every capacity. I feel like Ben, I hate your voice. I hate your hair. I hate the fact that you don't wash your hair. I hate the fact that you don't wash your sheets. I hate your mannerisms.
I mean, he said every 2 weeks, didn't he? Is something, I guess, but
that I'm
not
sorry.
enough.
That's not enough. I'm sorry. Like I have textured hair and having textured hair, you are not supposed to wash your hair every day. I wash my hair maybe once a week. So somebody with finer hair, not washing it every 2 weeks, like I just know it stinks. I just know it's greasy. And I just don't know why you would admit that on TV. But for me, Ben is hella fake. Like he's trying
Yeah.
so hard to get a good edit. Like, oh, you're the only person I've ever imagined in a wedding dress, and you're just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like he's trying so hard to get a good edit. He's trying so
Yeah,
hard.
I do notice that a lot this season. You can tell that they're really thinking about how they're going to be perceived. And I think back to like seasons 1 and 2 and even 3 and 4, because when they filmed those, it hadn't quite blown up to the way it is now.
Yeah.
And they were just a little bit more natural. They were like
Yes.
more grumpy with each other, or they would say stuff, and it just felt more real, a real couple. And this feels very much like, what can I say that all the people will love me? Like when he did his little run, because like I love when they do a little run out of the pods, but it just didn't feel right there.
It didn't feel right. And it's like, that's the thing, is like a viewer can see when you're extra faking it too. And that's what Ben is doing. Like he's always smiling, and he's always there, and like, you know what I mean? Like he's just always full of compliments, and he's always just like, I'm just trying to find the thing that I don't like about you, and I just can't find it.
Yeah, we want to see the real. We want to see the arguing and the little stuff. And I mean, I get it, because when you say something wrong on camera, people do talk about it. But I think it's better to be real and liked for being real than liked for being whatever he's doing.
But I also think that Dave is being hated for like because he is blunt and he just says crazy things. Like when he told Lauren her face was greasy,
and he tells everyone that she pees too much. Like, what? Why, sir? We don't need to know this on TV
like,
or her friends.
You don't like her. Like, you're like, oh, your face is greasy. Not like, you look beautiful this morning.
And the
like,
hair, when he was
God
like,
damn, your face is so greasy. Yes.
Yeah, he said he didn't like her braids. It's like, he's like, that's where it's nagging, where you're like, oh, I'm joking, but you can tell he does not like her hair like that. Like, he's not joking. He's being real. So he likes to insult with jokes.
Yeah.
Which I know some couples enjoy that little like playfulness.
Banter, yeah.
Yeah, but when they're not on solid footing as it is, it's probably not the best time to do that. Like, you already act like you do not like this woman, and now you're going to make fun of her hair and her skin. It's just not.
Yeah.
You can only do that if you are solid and you know you really love each other. But...
Yeah, read the room, Dave. How do we got back on Dave? We're talking
oh my gosh, they're taking up all our screen time
I'm
now.
I'm telling you, you can't, like, he's so horrible, they can't help it. So Ben, I think he's fake. I think he's trying to give himself the best edit possible, and it's backfiring on him. But I do find Sarah to be like, I feel like because she's paired with him and he sucks, like she's not really getting a lot of screen time. I don't find her to be problematic in any regard. I think, I mean, I did find their whole interaction about the TikTok thing, which we'll get into, because that was like their biggest that was kind of their only storyline.
Yeah, part of me that finds she's not fake, but maybe just doing it more for the show and not a marriage, is those social issues that she said were so important to her and her sister, and then to meet someone in the pods and they say that stuff's not important to them, that would be like a deal breaker, I would think. Like
100%.
It feels like he was upfront with the things that were not important to him, and why would you even consider marrying someone that was so not aligned with you on that? So it felt sort of like, well, I want to stay on the show, so we'll get engaged, and I know this, I'm not going to say yes, or it's not going to work out, we're going to break up before we get there. So that's where I find her equally as fake as him, because I don't think either of them are actually, like, I just don't think she would actually marry that man. Like, I don't see it.
That's fair. I think that's
like,
fair.
why are you there then? But
Yeah, yeah. If the social issues were so important, he kind of he stated his stance on them, and you
he
didn't
said
care.
he didn't vote, which is just crazy. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I
They don't have the same. She's like, well, he doesn't have opposing views. I'm like, ah, like
yeah.
it's like kind of obvious that he does, but you're ignoring that for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Because
Um,
this is not just like a date. You're going to marry this person. So you're going to marry a man that doesn't vote. Like, that's a big statement, you know?
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, for sure. And so, what did you think of the whole TikTok drama? I will say first that it's when Sarah was like acting like
Yeah,
it was like the first time she's seen it. It's like that was so fake,
I know.
so
I,
fake,
you
you
know, they
know?
already watched it with their producers in the background like 5 times. And then they were like, okay, now let's do it on camera. Because
Yeah,
there's no way that that was the first time she saw it. Obviously, because the video wasn't even playing. So, but
right. So, what'd you
yeah.
think of it? What'd you think of it?
Well, I think because I posted a clip of it and we got lots of comments, and I think a lot of people are in agreement that like two things can be true. I think Andrea overreacted and made it seem like she was a lot more involved with Ben than she is, but I also think he has a lot of bad stories about him, or like not bad stories, like to just like hitting on women and maybe not treating them well and not cheating on them, but like ditching them on dates, like little things like that. So the way Andrea presented it in her video was that he had done these horrible, heinous things to her in a long-term relationship, that they were very close. And then she posted a response now saying like, my tears were for all the other women's stories I had heard. It wasn't necessarily about my experience with him, but what I had heard about him. And
Yeah.
so it was a little different than she had originally presented, but she said all she wanted to do was get the warning out about him for whoever was engaged to him on the show. She felt like she accomplished that, and now she doesn't care. She's like, people that meet him in real life can make up their own mind, but she's staying out of it now. So
So would you say that based on her response, would you say that Ben was forthcoming about their situation with Sarah? What he said on camera was pretty
I
accurate.
Yeah, I feel like he was for sure. I think he ghosted her, which, that's not great. And he's probably done it to other women from what we've seen in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he didn't treat her very well, but he also didn't, like, she used some words, like you said, that were a lot more serious than ghosting. So,
So my question is that he said, okay, we maybe went on a date or maybe two. If here's my question. If Andra is claiming that and I don't even know if her name's Andra or Andra, she really
I think
got
it's
at me.
Andrea.
I
Yeah, I
said,
don't know.
Aunt, I think it's, yeah, because I was calling her Andra and she was like, oh my God, you can't even pronounce my name right. It's like, girl, relax. That's whatever. Anyway, so if she's saying like she went out on a second date with him, it was such a horrible date that she had to have her friends come save her, and then he hit on one of her friends. Did you hit him up after this horrible date and give him an
That
avenue to
was what
ghost
he
you?
That was definitely what he alluded to, because he said there's probably some DMs, but they didn't originate from me, as though she was reaching out to him. But he didn't really say at what time frame that happened. That could have been
Yeah.
between the first and second date. I don't know, but
Yeah. And I don't really think that I don't think that there's anything wrong with him necessarily not remembering. Like, if a
mhm.
situation so minor and it happened 4 years ago, I could see why he would forget the details of what happened to them. I know that that sounds like you're lying. I think
Mhm.
that that didn't make him look good at all. Like,
No, I
oh,
think yeah, I
like,
think it probably speaks to what all these women are saying. Like, he doesn't remember her specifically or ghosting her, probably because he does do it a lot. So I
yeah.
think, and he seemed nervous about the conversation, probably because he knows there's a lot more stories. But when I say stories, I mean, yeah, he ghosts women, or he's a player, like they say. So I think there's a lot of women that have that to say about him. But yeah, like Andra said, you maybe thought I overreacted in my first video. So because she was like bawling and crying,
So
and
she admitted that she was overreacting.
she didn't say she was overreacting, but she said I can see how people will think that I'm overreacting.
Mm-hmm.
But she did delete that response video, so it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to call back exactly what she said. I do have like the original like link for it, but then when you go to it now, it's gone. So I think
Mm-hmm.
she realized it wasn't worth, like, Love is Blind. TikTok world is crazy. And so she realized that some
I
people
wish we
will,
would have gotten a screen recording of it
yeah.
because I did a review on Ben and Sarah and I was like, she like the fact that she only went on 2 dates, and then it's like, of course I'm getting the comments. It's like, oh well, just because you can experience trauma within 15 minutes, just because she went on 1 2 dates doesn't. And I'm not invalidating her experience with Ben at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying she wasn't forthcoming about her experience with Ben, and that she wasn't forthcoming that those tears were coming from other women's experience. She made it
Mm-hmm.
seem like they were coming from a direct experience with him.
And
um
we felt that way when we originally saw the video, because when we wanted to report on it, we're like, we're not really sure what we're reporting on, because it is very vague. It's very, she's very emotional, but there is not any details here. There's vagueness. And so we, yeah, she
yeah.
hasn't clarified. Yeah,
And
Ben clarified it,
he
but
clarified that they didn't hook up, that they
mhm.
kissed. He said that they kissed, they didn't hook up. And he's kind of doesn't know why she would have such a strong reaction to him, like,
Mhm.
and it seems like he's valid in feeling that way. Like, I think
Yeah.
I'd be a little confused too. Like, again, we don't know what transpired on these 2 dates, and Ben wasn't
Mhm.
able to give us any details, but she also didn't give us any details of like what happened on this date that was horrible to make you. And again, she's the one opening up this can of worms. She's the one, like, she doesn't have to tell the internet what happened on this date if she doesn't want to, but like, when you put people in your business and you're like vaguely telling us something happened but you're not specific, like, I'm wondering what happened on this date that was so horrible.
But I don't think that she expected to become a part of the storyline. Like, I don't think she expected them to pull this TikTok into the story. So
Well,
I
I
don't think
think she
she,
expected something because she
yeah.
did it and said she wanted production to
Hmm.
get wind of what was going on, and they did. So it's like she wanted something out of
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. Well, we didn't really get, yeah, we didn't get the answers that we were looking for, but like I
Because
said, there's
Ben
enough.
also said, he said, didn't he say something about like, I think we went on one day and then went to he said a couple of bars together for the next few weeks. So he kind of alluded to maybe it being more than 2 days, or like they hung out a little bit in
Yeah.
casual
It was
settings. Like,
probably more like, I'm out with my friends. Do you want to come and meet up? Not like an actual date. I think maybe they only did that one time or two times, but yeah, it seems
whatever.
like obviously he thought it was a lot more casual than she did. So,
I think she kind of admitted that it was casual too. On, like, you
hmm,
know what I mean? Like, she said,
yeah.
okay, it was only 2 dates. Like, okay, you should.
Yes.
I think it would have been more forthcoming to just say that. To just say that in
Hmm.
your original video, to say, hey, I actually went on a date with this guy 4 years ago. We only actually made it to 2 dates because it was so horrible that I had to leave. And then he had the nerve to hit on my friend. I think
Hmm.
that would have been a lot more forthcoming, and people would have been like, dang, what a douchebag. Like, what a douchebag.
Hmm.
Like, who hits on someone's
Yeah.
friend when you're breaking off with them? Like, I think that would have been more forthcoming than to just sit in
Hmm.
front of that camera and cry like that, because I thought something really happened to her. The way that she, went off on me for recapping her video, I literally was so concerned, like, oh my God, if something more serious is going on here, I had no idea, and I'm genuinely sorry,
Hmm.
so to know that it,
Yeah.
wasn't what she presented, I was like, oh, maybe you were just looking for a little, looking for a moment, your dang self, even though I
Hmm.
do think, for
There's a lot
the
of people.
record, I that just because Andra is wrong in how she presented the video doesn't mean that I think Ben is right. I do think
Yeah.
Ben is an asshole, a douchebag, a douche canoe, a f
Yeah.
boy, all the things.
That's where I'm at too. I think,
Allegedly.
yeah, I think she overreacted, but what the general message of her story was that he maybe isn't very nice to the women he dates
Right.
in terms of like treating them well, and that's clear. So I think, yeah, somewhere in the middle is the truth of it all.
Mm.
But we didn't see either of their parents, Ben or Sarah, right? Not in this
No.
episode. We will see
Mm-mm.
them next time. It looks like they had little snippets of them. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think we only seen Ben's
that will be
friends.
interesting to see how, because I would think your parents will know if you're not being yourself, you know? So he's going to have to be maybe a little bit more real in front of them, or maybe they're in on it too. I don't know.
Oh, so that was Ben's friend, right? That
Yeah.
said that was like, oh, like I'm gay, like you know what I mean, like right,
Yeah.
like he's
That's
okay
why
with
everybody.
gay people because I'm gay, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Everyone was sure that they were paid actors, so that was pretty
mm,
funny. Which they
yeah,
were kind of giving that vibe a little bit, like they were like with the jokes and
he's
the
great. He's a
yeah.
great guy. Like, he's not great. He gives out
Yeah.
YouTube cards after he sleeps with girls,
Yes.
like
That
allegedly.
yes. Well, I mean, we did see the picture of it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I will have to ask Sarah one day if she ever got one of those cards.
Ah!
He's probably, like we said, he's probably gonna make Love Is Blind ones now, so he's got to
Yes,
upgrade his
his YouTube slash. I was on
Love.
season 8 of Love Is Blind. He's definitely
Yes.
going to be on the dating apps with his Love Is Blind poster as his main photo. I just know. You know, Steven did that. Steven
Oh, really?
was on the dating apps with his
Was it
little
him or a
poster.
catfish? Because they like to say that now.
I know. I don't know. I just heard that going around that he was on the
Love it.
dating apps with his Love Is Blind posters.
Yeah, I feel like the Andrea stuff took up most of their storyline, so I don't know. Like,
That's
we
it.
didn't-
That's all that they
Mhm.
had, really.
Yeah, we didn't really get to see their dynamic too much, so I
Yeah.
think we need to see the next drop before we can have more of an analysis of how their relationship is.
So what'd you think of episode 7 through 9? Did you find them more like better than the first 6? Because the first 6 were like la, and I
Yeah.
really picked these last 3. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think they kept a way better pace going. The first 6 dragged a little bit, and they
Yeah.
got through the honeymoon really fast, or whatever they call that vacation, and they
Mm-hmm.
got right into the family. So I think it was better. I think it picked up a bit, and
Mm-hmm.
I think they're setting up some good drama to come. So I'm excited for the next drop, and
Yeah.
I think it's picking up a bit.
Would you have liked to see more honeymoon time? Because I know a lot of people felt like the honeymoon time, or not honeymoon, but the
Yeah,
vacation
whatever they call it.
was a bit short.
It was a bit short, but that just makes me think that they didn't have a lot to show us because all the drama that we've seen since they got back was stuff happening back at home. So it seemed like they just wanted to get back home because that's when the real stuff was going to happen.
Yeah.
And now, like, next week we have the cast meetup, which is always the most dramatic part of the season. So we're going to have Mason come back and Meg and Madison, and it's going to be good. So
Yeah.
I think I see why, like, we would have liked to see more honeymoon episodes, but I see why they just kind of wanted to get back to the real world because that's
Yeah.
when the stuff starts to go down. So
Yeah, I could see that. I could see
Yeah.
that. And they probably had gotten wind that there was some drama brewing
Yeah.
in the friend group with Dave and Lauren, so they wanted to like get back
Mm-hmm.
to that. But yeah, I think that they've done a good job at turning it around. I definitely found these next 3 episodes much more entertaining, and I'm excited to see how many episodes
Mm-hmm.
are we getting next week?
we are getting another 3. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so there's a lot going on still. So we get 3 more in the next drop, and then 1 wedding episode the week after that, and then they just announced the reunion will air on March the 9th. So
Right. Because
Yeah.
if you missed our last episode, the reunion did actually air this past weekend. I mean, film this
Yeah.
past weekend in LA. So
yeah, so it filmed on Saturday, so it'll air on the 9th. So we do have a little bit of tea about what went down at the reunion. We'll probably save that for our tea drop later this week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So stay
keep
tuned.
yeah, make sure you're following us. Oh, and there's also an event. If you're going to South by Southwest, there's a Love is Blind pop-up event happening. There's like March 7th to 9th. There's going to be a few events, cast members, like a live watch of the show, the reunion. So, yeah, it could be a lot of fun. So, we'll share
Okay.
the details on our Reality Receipts Pod Instagram.
Yeah. Well, this
Yeah,
was
so-
a great episode. I hope you guys
Yes.
enjoyed the newest episodes of Love is Blind. Stay tuned for a special tea drop that we may or may not drop this week. You never know. So you want to make sure you're following on all the socials so that you're up to date on everything that we're doing. And if not, then we will see you next Tuesday, right?
Yes. See you next Tuesday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.